Wow, that's a lot of zebras here at Manoakwena in Botswana. That is what an incredible image. Wow. Sorry. Hi. I was so stunned. I almost forgot to introduce myself. My name's Kelly. I'm going to be with you for today's Africam show. Welcome. Thank you very, very much for joining us today. Um, this is, I'm a bit mesmerized. Wow, that is such an incredible image of zebra. I've never actually seen this many zebra from this angle. There have been some amazing camera angles lately, but that is super, super cool. Anyway, hi, welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us. Let's see who we've got with us today. Jean Gale, hello from the foothills near Seattle. Hoping to have enough internet today. You and me both, Jean Gale. Story of my life. You've got coffee. I've actually just, oh no, I've still got some coffee as well. A little bit tepid, but that's okay. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us, Jean Gale. Actually going to have a little sip of my coffee. You've reminded me it was there. Karu, hello. Thank you very much for joining us, Karu. You've got milk again. Excellent, excellent choice. Bridget McKinney, seltzer water with lemon. Delicious. Excellent choice. Sounds much healthier than my tepid coffee choice. Zygote, thank you very much for joining us, Zygote. Namaste to you too, Zygote. April Owl, thank you for being here. Good morning, everyone from sunny Connecticut. Have your peach and blueberry muffins and cherry iced tea by your side. Happy to be here. I'm happy you're here as well, April Owl. Thank you so much for making it. And Bridget McKinney is saying, wow, zebra party. This is indeed a zebra party. Those sounds are amazing, hey? So anyone that was I actually had a zebra in my garden about half an hour ago, and I do often look at them and think, surely stripes stand out in this environment. But when you see this, and when you see zebras moving through shadows, it becomes very obvious how deceptively look at that elephant at the back there. He's like, no, I'm gone. That's far too many zebras even for his liking. I wonder what would happen if he sort of turned to walk down here. I assume the zebras would part, but yeah, that is an insane image. But seeing them like this really does remind us how effective those stripes are for causing intense confusion. Probably amongst predators. Casper's third ghost. Good morning, afternoon, Kelly. It's afternoon here. It's just after 4 o'clock here in South Africa. Thank you very much for joining us, Casper's third ghost. And everyone from a hot and muggy Milwaukee, iced tea ready for the ride. Hop on for the ride, Casper's third ghost. It's good to have you here. Mindy Tillipal, always a pleasure to hear your voice. Thank you very much, Mindy. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Montenegro. Hello, Africamers from British Columbia. Montenegro, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Africamers party and a zebra party, it would appear. Amazing scenes here. This is a fairly new camera here from Botswana, Manoakwena in Botswana, giving us some different angles for this zebra migration. Well, it doesn't surprise me because I know it happens, but it impresses me how orderly lots of these large gatherings of animals are, and how sort of peaceful they often seem. Obviously, if something gives them a fright, and I see Zygote saying so much commotion, lions will be happy. If predators did rock up into this particular environment, I would imagine everything would change quite dramatically. But often so, okay, our zebra have departed. I think we've probably had a little glitch in the camera there. Probably just too many zebra. But we have this beautiful bull elephant. But I was just saying, it always seems so orderly and organized. if not organized, then you know, everyone isn't bumping into everyone, and you know, getting in everyone else's way. It always seems fairly structured. Everyone comes for a drink, and then they move, and then the next animals come down. But I suppose it needs to be that way. Otherwise, there would be a lot of confusion a lot of the time. I recognize this elephant. I see his little nick out of his trunk there. I've spent some time watching this boy. He does look a little bit, see those temples there above his eyes? Sometimes those sort of sunken in areas above his eyes can be a sign of loss of condition. But this is the elephant, if I'm not mistaken. He does have an injury on his trunk, but he seems to have adapted to using it quite well. Let's watch and see how he drinks. Okay, we are back to the zebra. Exciting change around here. Who was it that said they hope their internet, you hope you've got enough internet today? Who said that? I can't remember who it was that said that. It slipped out of my Oh, Jean Gale at the start of the show. Yeah, tell us about it. We know that feeling well. We are back to this huge dazzle of zebra. And I will say, look at all those zebra at the top of the drop there. It's quite orderly. There's not too much. Even the youngsters, actually, often you see foals, they'll be running around and being silly. But maybe it's understood that in these conditions, you know, there's lots of animals there. They must stay sensible, stay close, so they don't get lost. Oh, look, that is an elephant there in the mix. I have seen quite a few pans recently with elephants drinking and zebras muscling in and lots of other animals muscling in, but everything must do what it needs to do to get water. Basically, there is some fresh water coming through, I think, where that elephant is. We do all know that elephants prefer to drink fresh, clean water. Zebras aren't quite so fussy. But look, I think this elephant might be trying to get to this inlet, but is struggling to part the sea of zebra. It's a little bit tricky to tell, but this doesn't look like a huge, big, mature bull. I could be wrong from this angle. But this mini zebra, well, we know that elephants are king of the savannah, in my opinion. That's a lot of zebra to contest with. And maybe those zebra are just blocking his way a little bit. I'm sure he could part them if he really needed to. I'm interested to see if this elephant is actually going to make his way in there. There is lots of vocalizations going on here. I would typically, the way I would normally understand it, that I'm not going to do a zebra impression. That very typical zebra sound, that almost donkey-like sound, I would often interpret as an alarm call. Has he managed to get in there? But here, I just think there's so much commotion. So much commotion that there's vocalizations and see, he doesn't look like a big, mature bull. Oh, Zygo, you hear it as barking dogs. There's definitely communications going on here with these zebra. They will be sticking, and something else that actually interests me in migration situations is we know normally they will have smaller sort of family groups. I might actually have to do some reading around, do they mostly maintain their family groups in these when the numbers increase? I'd have thought they probably would do. So maybe some of these vocalizations are them just ensuring that they don't lose the rest of their family. Let's watch this elephant, see if he's going to get in there. Montenegro, you're saying, you're asking if there's some kind of canines barking in the background. And Zyka, I thought you meant the zebra sounded like elephants. Let me just turn my volume up a bit. Just let me listen for a minute. I think it might be an echo off the microphone. I think it's a, sorry, I was probably shouting then. I think it's probably an echo off the microphone. So zebra are sort of making their sound and it's almost reverbing back, I think, because it sounds like it's almost coming through directly after the zebra have vocalized. I'm going to sit back a little bit because I did find that sound quite loud in my ear. I think it's probably zebra, Onsonegra and zygote, but I think that the zebra calls are hitting the microphone and sort of coming back around. Zygote, it would blow your eardrums. I just turned my volume up to listen, and it almost looks like it's in a sort of dip, this riverbed here, so it might be bouncing a bit off the sides of the bed that all those zebra are in as well, sort of almost echoing. This elephant's unimpressed with this situation by the looks of it. He's definitely I think maybe he was trying to get some fresh water up at that other side there. He looks a bit, he's on a mission somewhere, I think. Onsonegra, you're saying so those are zebra calling that sound like dogs. I think so. I've got earpieces in, and I just put both of my earpieces in to listen, and I think it's the echo coming from those. Yeah, I think it's the echo coming from those zebra. You see, they're sort of in a bowl almost, and I think it's the echo coming back partially off the bowl. So how the land lies, the zebra parting for that elephant. I think it's the echo and reverb of those zebra. Montenegro. Zygote. Elephant is like a bull in a china shop, indeed. Oh, maybe he's making his way to these other elephant. That would make more sense. You see, even this isn't a huge elephant. Those zebra are still making space. Like parting of a sea of zebra. That's definitely a zebra calling. Montenegro, yeah, no problem. It was an odd sound, but I think there might be a bit of sort of a combination of bouncing back from the bowl, the bowl, the sort of concaveness, if you want, that these animals are all standing in, and also maybe there's a little bit of bounce back from the microphone as well. And that's a really small elephant. It's easier to tell when he gets next to the other elephants. I knew he wasn't big, but I didn't realise he was quite that small. I don't know what he was doing all the way over there on his own. I can only assume it was a young bull. They have a tendency to head off. But what's going on here? Oh no, it's a breeding herd. Okay, that explains it. I think this young elephant is part of this group, maybe, and it's often the young boys. Don't take my word for it, but it's frequently the young males. They start hanging back from their family groups, and sort of hanging behind, and they think they're going to be okay on their own. And I think probably what happened is he decided he was going to stay down there and get a drink on his own, but it turned out he didn't manage it, so he's gone back to the safety of mum. Andy, you're asking who vocalizes more, male or female zebra? That's a good question. I don't know. I would guess male. Male animals tend to be more vocal because of maybe maintaining their breeding group, depending on the species. It's often resource, not zebra because zebras aren't territorial, but maybe sort of resource based. I would guess males. But females, as far as I know, vocalize as well, because that is an alarm call. But I don't, and I think females might contact call more. But I don't know, Andy. That's a really good question. I would guess males, but I would have to double check and confirm that. Good question. We had a long conversation about so someone asked me recently when I was watching the cameras, is it easy to tell a male from a female? And my short answer was no, it's not easy. You have to see things from a certain angle, consider different aspects. Oh, shame these so if you ask me now how many males are in this picture, I would have absolutely no idea. So it probably does make it a little bit harder for people to get a accurate numerical data on who makes more noise when. The zygote, you'd open a cough syrup shop for prison ponies. They're definitely quite vocal. But there's more animals. Normally, if out of different seasons, where there's not as many animals, you might hear, I don't know, if you followed a herd of zebra of 8 to 10 members around for a day, they might vocalize 3 times or something. You put this many, that multiplies the chances of them being vocal, and probably the situation as well. This is a lovely little group of elephants here. That looks like probably a big bull at the back there. It's amazing how much more tolerant of one another both cross-species and interspecies are with each other when they do need to share water. Sometimes there's some argy-bargy goes on, so a little bit of pushing and shoving, but ultimately animals are much more, not always, things like hippos, they will get much more possessive of water, but you do often see them sharing more tolerantly when they need to. But yeah, this is a lot of mouths to water in this area at the moment. Mindy Chilipa, you're saying zebra herds remind you of a group of young kids together, always poking and antagonizing each other. They can be. They are quite interactive. I've noticed as well, if you watch a group of zebra, they are quite interactive. There's lots of, but again, it's communication. One of my favorite things is animal body language and communication, and how they communicate with each other. It's all bonding, it's all communication, it's all interacting. There will be so much going on that we're not even particularly aware of. But yeah, there's always often something going on within a zebra group. So a group this size, there's always going to be action. Fabulous. One day I'm going to try and count all of these zebra. I think I stopped counting at about 100 not long ago. Those sounds really are very cool though. Oh, our elephants have multiplied since we were here earlier. We have another addition. So we've still got this boy here with the damage to his trunk. And if you watch how he drinks, maybe he'll go down for another sip. But if you look on these two animals, the one on the right does look, can you say those indentations on above his eyes do look slightly more pronounced. Also on the animal on the left, but to me it looks like not quite so sort of close together. We sometimes say we've got a giraffe. I'm going to photobomb in the background as well there. A sign of age, but more than age for me, it's a sign of condition. And let's see if this boy with the damaged trunk is going to take another drink. Ah, lovely. You see, I was just saying about how nicely a lot of these animals share when resources are a bit limited. It feels to me like at a time of plenty, these elephants would maybe not be quite so tolerant of this eland. I've certainly watched elephants chase many animals away from watering points, from everything from giraffes to other elephants, right down through to ducks and birds. See this boy with the hole in his trunk. He does this sort of. He'll put his trunk down and he sort of scoops and then rotates a little bit. So he doesn't lose any water from that gap. Oh, Andy, thank you very much. You have investigated who who vocalizes more, male or female zebra. Let's see if it's really difficult for me doing answering questions, because ultimately I could also just sort of search it, but I don't like to. I know if I do things quickly, I forget them. So I would rather sometimes, if I'm prepared to give an educated guess, and then see how wrong I was. So let's read this and see how wrong I was. Studies of zebra vocalization suggest that male zebras may vocalize more frequently than females. Okay, particularly in certain contexts. Specifically, males use bray for courtship and asserting dominance within the herd. Yes, educated guess is correct. And males vocalize loudly to protect their territory. However, female zebra do vocalize, especially when lactating females are separated from their foals, or aggressive interactions with other mares that can involve loud brays. Okay, so I wasn't that far out. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate you doing the digging. And these days I really struggle to trust you. I never know who or what to trust anymore. I normally, if I am going away to do homework, I will often dig around in the internet for peer-reviewed papers, because there's so many. There's actually an example I saw recently. Someone, a well-known dog professional, actually from the States, stated as a joke that border collies blink 3.7 times less frequently than other dogs, and she since said it was a joke, because border collies are known for staring, but if you search on the internet, it actually comes up that she said that, and if you didn't know it was a joke, someone might come back and go, oh, this is fact. So yeah, it puts us in a, oh, is this going to be floppy ear coming? Floppy ear often comes in and causes a bit of a ruckus at this camera. Yeah, it's what's the word? I've become very suspicious of information these days, put it like that. This is an interesting look. They're both skirted around the outside. Candy Ann, Kennedy Ann. You'd love to sit quietly in the middle of a herd of elephants and feel the rumbles. It is an amazing experience. You can, it's very, very special to sit quietly, especially in the dark for me. You need to be aware of obviously safety, make sure no one is getting too close. But yeah, sitting in the dark, surrounded by elephants, feeding and rumbling is a very humbling experience. Okay, we seem to have reached some sort of agreement here now with these boys. Oh, there's another one coming. Oh, it must be drinking time. Everyone's turning up now. Did you see how those other two elephants turned around as soon as those two that are... oh, it's all gonna... Oh, elephant-tastic. How many have we got up to now? That's a lot of male elephants there. Any more for any more? Zygote, they are absolutely enormous. People often ask, how big are elephants? And as usual, I skirt around the question and say it depends. But males, 5 to 6 tons. I think the record was 10 tons in Angola, but a friend of mine actually shared something recently that said they darted a big bull, and because it doesn't happen often because it's so dangerous to anesthetize big animals, and they said that they estimated him to be X tons, and he actually ended up weighing significantly more than they originally thought. So yeah, my normal dance around actually giving a numerical response. But yes, Zygote, they are big. I will concur for that. Andy, thank you. I was right. It doesn't. It happens relatively infrequently, but that's what I mean. You use what information you have or what you assume to be correct. But yeah, with science and different sources of information, it's so difficult to know what is true and what is not these days. But thank you for doing the research for me, Andy. Appreciated. And I do like to be honest. If I'm doing this and someone asks me something I don't know, I'll say, oh, I'm not sure, or I guess, and I tell everyone I've guessed, and then I will go away and check, and I will say, okay, yep, I've checked, and this is the information I found. I call it homework. I actually love a bit of homework. Oh, yes, please. I would love to go and look at that black eagle chick being fed. I've been really enjoying. Oh, I got so excited here the other day. Oh, listen to this little bird vocalizing now. I'm assuming this is that chick vocalizing. Birds will often vocalize or cheep, 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 cheep as nature's way to stimulate a feeding response. I'm sure everyone's seen those images of those more the passerines and little perching birds, and an adult flies in and all those mouths open. Is that the chick, or is that a... See that chick's mouth moving when it's making that noise. Maybe it's another adult bird. Oh, okay. that would make sense. I'm not sure. Someone is making a cheeping noise, but I've been mesmerized by this this black eagle and their feeding behavior. I got very, very excited the other day watching I'm not sure which adult it was, feeding I'm not sure what this is, what delicious morsels are going on here today. I can't quite tell. But recently I was watching this bird and the adult was sort of almost willing the youngster to eat on its own, but it didn't, and the adult started feeding the little one. And switch off if you've got weak stomachs. And the adult bird hooked a beak in and like hooked out a big stringy bit of intestine, and gave it to the chick, and the chick sort of flapped it around a little bit and tried to swallow it, and it didn't quite swallow it. And then the adult bird pulled out another big piece of intestines, and ate it and stopped, and then took. What are you doing? And then took the intestines back from the chick and ate it itself. And again, I did some quickfire guesswork, and then what's that? See, that adult looks like it's going, go on, eat that. That's what it looks like to me. I did some quickfire guesswork. Intestines, I think we worked out that particular prey species was a dussie. Dussies eat the herbivores. No, carnivores don't want to eat grass or herbivorous material. But it was the recognition that the adult sort of went, oh, I didn't mean to give you that, and took it back off it, which I found very, very interesting. I've got no idea what they are eating up here, but this looks like this adult is presenting this to this chick and going, go on, eat it. Sounds like something my mum would say. Go on, eat it. It's good for you. But maybe this chick isn't quite big enough, isn't quite ready, although that's a substantial beak and you can see those feet almost looking comically large. Remember as well, I'm not totally sure how it works in lots of eagles, but many animals do. There is an element of instinct and nature, but sometimes animals will need to be sort of shown by parents. Okay, this is what you do. Often they might open up a prey species if the baby isn't competent enough in opening things, and then slowly after they open things, then they will start feeding themselves. Are you going to have a little peck at that? Alfredo Leone, where is this nest exactly? You mean the country? It's right here in South Africa, Alfredo. It's in a game reserve not too far from actually where I am. So in the Lowveld region of South Africa. So if you look on a map, if you look close to the Kruger Park, sort of the northern edge of the Kruger Park, it's in a game reserve called Salati Game Reserve. So as the black eagle flies, probably an hour from where I'm sitting right now. It almost looks like this eagle's been using that left side of the nest as a larder. Reaching over and grabbing a bit from the storage area. So these Verreaux's eagles, they do eat a lot of dussies. They are known for their hunting ability of dussies and also liking cliffy areas. And cliffy areas are often where dussies reside, thus making them excellent dussie hunters. But that also takes sort of the small mammals, or as with many predators, if they can fit it in their mouth and kill it, they will eat it. I'm very much enjoying this Varroa's eagle nest though, watching this chick grow, starting to get little sticky hardy little things, those little black feathers starting to develop already. And they look like they're doing an excellent job with this little guy. Well done. Varroa's eagle family. I'd like to head back over to Old Donio there. There was 7 when we left. I just wanted to have a little look at this chickie though. I've grown quite fond of this family. Oh, look, this elephant in the middle, if this elephant in the middle turns to face us, it's got the straightest, if it's the elephant, I think it's got the straightest, most perfect tusks I've ever seen in my life. If it's the same guy. There's Holy Ear. You do recognize these individuals, hey? When you've been watching them for a while. And these elephants, they will sort of, I don't like using the word dominance as such. They will have an understanding of sort of who gets preference, who gets to drink first, if someone asks them to move, they should move. It's not so much dominance for me, it's a respectful understanding between individuals. Dominance always conjures up an unpleasant scenario for me, but this is a respectful understanding between individuals. That's another way I would like to put it. Karu, the trip sometimes manages a bar on its own. Started doing that a couple of days ago. Thank you, Karu. That's brilliant news. I've been waiting to see that. It wasn't doing it a few days ago, so it must be only very recently that it started feeding on its own, but that's brilliant news. I'll look forward to seeing that little guy starting to eat his own dinner. I bet the parents will be absolutely delighted when that happens. I'd love to see this smaller elephant in the middle here just turn around and let us see his tusks. It's always struck me as being physically, he's been massively blocked by this. Oh, this is this guy with the backwards tusk. I was so busy looking at his hair, I didn't notice that tusk. I have also seen this elephant before. Also, deformity. I went through a long ramble trying to work out what happened here recently. And I started by saying, see, this is a perfect demonstration, Andy. I've got no idea what happened. And first of all, I said, it's unusual that it would be an injury. Often it's a deformity, it grows like it. Unlikely that it's an injury because if something got knocked that hard, it might come out. Etc., etc. But then I saw the other side of the tusk, so the side we can't see at the moment, and it almost looked split to me because there was sort of white around the sides, and then almost where it would be sort of where there's an inside bit of the tusk, it was dark, so almost like it had been filled up with mud or dirt or something. We can't see it at the moment. But I'm always open to discussion, and I often say, how boring would it be if I just sat here and just told you all stuff for a while? You can all sit and look things up and work out your own information if you want to. But for me, this is a great learning opportunity for everyone. I love hearing what everyone has been thinking, what other ideas are on what's happening, what we're looking at. This little elephant, I think. Physically, it looks quite small to me, but I mean, these are massive big bulls. As we know, elephants leave their, or bulls will leave their breeding herds, anything from 10, 15, 20, you know, at any point. This elephant does look physically small to me, but his tusks are amazing. So we could be seeing a seriously emerging tusker here. This little guy in the middle, and he often stands in the middle. But his tusks are perfectly straight. Alfredo, thank you for your question. You're asking which countries exactly do we have cameras in? Thanks once again. It's an absolute pleasure. At the moment, we've got cameras in Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Kenya, and Tanzania, or Tanzania, depending on how you pronounce it. So an excellent coverage across Africa. But keep watching this space, Alfredo. We are adding cameras all the time. And it's an amazing opportunity to watch interactions and behaviours that we otherwise wouldn't be able to see. I'm waiting for this elephant to sort of turn. I'd like to see him head on or almost from the other side, so I can try and explain what I mean about this tusk. But I'm not sure what happened to this tusk. It, as I say, it to me is possible. Although he's got a big rip in his ear, I wonder if something happened and that it caused that tusk to twist or misalign, and it's grown out of shape when this injury happened to his ear. Maybe when he was tiny, he might have been a bit trampled or something. How his ear got ripped, and also how his tusk got turned around like that. I don't know. Zygo, yes, the poor giraffe is indeed, he hasn't got in there yet. That is a lot of elephant in the middle there. Look at that little one in the middle. If I was one of those adults, I'd be saying, get out of there, you're mixing it all up. It's funny, actually, you don't often see these big bulls standing in the middle. They stand politely around the edge, but this fascinates me. Alfredo, will the giraffe have trouble getting closer? They shouldn't see her as a threat, I suppose. Not really, but there was an incident here. Ooh. In the last 18 months, I think, and a giraffe got too close and an elephant puncture wounded said giraffe. It was quite distressing actually to see him, quite unusual. But no, this is too many elephants. I've seen sort of maybe two or three on one side and then a giraffe drinking on the opposite side. But these elephants are ginormous. And it would only take a flick of a trunk or a body shove, and they could really do a giraffe some proper damage. So I think giraffe will probably rather wait. Elephants can get quite possessive about their water as well. If I was a giraffe, I'd wait. Alfredo, anyway, I know that much. And I saw Floppy Ear was over there then. Yeah, it's quite peaceful. Old Mr. One Ton hasn't been back for a while. But there was a exciting exchange a while ago where One Ton, an amazing tusker, gave Mr. Floppy Ear a good hard reprimand or shove. We did think there might have been an injury at some point, but Floppy Ear got away with it. Lovely seeing all these boys so peacefully, and this possible emerging tusker, this young boy, stood bizarrely in the middle of everything. We have come to the end of the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for your participation today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Super cool new camera with all those zebras there in Botswana. And we hope you have enjoyed the show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for your research, Andy. It's appreciated. And I hope to see you all again soon. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.